All right, bang. Today is Wednesday. It's January 10th. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. Free Swim Wednesday. We've got myself, we got Danny, we got Chief, of course. How's everybody doing today?
I'm in a mood.
Why is that?
It's just like the simple things of living in this day and age. When the internet doesn't work exactly how I want it to work on my computer, I got pages crashing. I can't load anything. It's driving me fucking crazy. And it's just like, why can't everything just work instantly? And it doesn't work, and it's like I can't do any blogs, I can't do anything because my computer just keeps crashing.
Is it your computer or is it the internet?
I think it's, well, like no one else is having internet issues here. I tried to like restart it. I've exhausted everything I know how to do, which is just restart the computer.
Have you done the Pete tweet yet?
No. I feel like Pete gets too hard of a time sometimes, and
well,
I don't want to.
He definitely does.
And also, like, people love to shit on Pete, but like, I feel like Dan is the only one who can. Dan and Dave are the only ones that really get away with it. Pete goes hard. So like, I might send him a text or send somebody a text, be like, I'm having all sorts of issues, but I like Pete and I don't really want to get dunked on by Pete either, because I feel like that's coming, because I just don't know anything about technology. But what I do know is that shit isn't working right now, and it's.
One thing that I do know is when we first started, they leased us laptops. Work laptops, you get like a 3-year lease or something, and then we traded those in and we got new ones, and the old one worked way better than the new one they gave me.
Stories old as time.
Like how, like just let me renew the lease.
I've never had any problems with this one. Like
this one's way worse than the last one we had.
Is it, or were you just finally getting used to the old one?
No. It's like, it's just a fact. Like the RAM was just way better.
Okay, I don't even know what RAM is. I don't know what RAM is.
The RAM is when you're able to open like a bunch of tabs and like the speed doesn't slow down. Like you're able to just blow through. You know, it gets glitchy and like shit like that when there's no.
Yeah, I've never had that issue with this computer. I had this old HP computer that I got in maybe like 2014, maybe 2012, a long time ago. And when we started the new job, they gave us computers. I kept the MacBook fucking in the box for the whole like first year plus.
I remember that.
And just used my old Hewlett Packard.
That.
Yeah.
Having an HP or like a Dell laptop is the equivalent to having like a Droid phone.
Yes.
Like it might be better off, but it's still like you're broke in my eyes.
And it's like, yeah, and I don't even know if it's better or worse or whatever, but I was used to it. And I'm like, what, am I going to learn how to use it? I've never really had a Mac, so I'm like, I'm going to learn something new. I don't want to learn anything new. So
yeah, you're definitely an old guy.
Yeah. No, I am. Yeah. No, but like once I made the switch, it took me like maybe 2 days to get used to the Mac, and it was way better.
Yeah.
But I held out with that old one until it absolutely crapped out.
It's a weird conundrum, because like how old you are is sometimes based off how well you are technologically, and you guys are getting older. We all are, but you still have to keep up technologically.
I think the big thing is you just don't want to be, when you're older, you don't want to waste your time. And if you waste your time doing something that just has no point in the future, like for instance, like you could have kept going and you would have been fine. And maybe like in the future, like MacBooks like go away and like, you know, your old school computers are like the way. And it's like, oh, good, I'm glad I never learned it. For instance, Clubhouse. Remember Clubhouse?
The Twitter Spaces thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Barstool like is big on like trying to be like on the next thing, and like you got to lean into this, you got to lean into that. This is the next thing. Like if you lean like super hard, like you lean super hard into Clubhouse and then it just disappears. Like you're like, fuck, why did I waste so much fucking time? You know.
Well, and that was like one of those things where it's like, because it felt like it was the whole internet, right? Was on Clubhouse. And that fad lasted, like it was the cover or not the cover, but there were articles about it, like the New York Post, and like this is the next big thing. And then Twitter.
The valuation was insane.
Yeah.
Like billions and billions and billions.
And then it was like, Twitter's like, oh, well, we can do that. And then Clubhouse died.
Yeah.
Like that was it.
I think I'm actually interested to see what's going on.
I'm sure there's some kind of version of it that still exists, but like, do you know anybody that uses it?
It was like Meerkat and Periscope. Remember Meerkat?
Yeah.
It was like a conference call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for those who don't remember, Clubhouse would have like a a Spaces, I forget what they called it, conversation we titled like nature. It's like, oh, if you want to hear about nature, step in this Clubhouse. Or the next would be like Chicago Bulls. Like, oh, you want to hear about Bulls? But yeah, that was a big thing for a while.
Was it a while? I feel like it was
Clubhouse?
legit. Yeah, I feel like it was like a month.
It was a long month for me.
Yeah.
I remember Carl was doing it heavy.
Yeah.
And it would be like timed around the time I would like be coming home. So I'd just be in the car and I was like responsible for kind of taking the calls. And then, you miss 5 seconds. I was in here, Danny. And I'm like, shit.
Like, I'm on the fucking highway. Give me a second.
Yeah, like here's this. Like it got to like a $4 billion valuation in 2021.
That's like the tech space, like with their valuations. Like, I'll never understand it because there's no way that they were generating any real revenue.
No, and then you keep reading. In April 2023, the company announced a 50% reduction in its staff amid a reset due to post-pandemic market shifts. So it's just like, like Twitter Spaces, it feels like they just nuked Clubhouse.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like, I think everyone, like the model is Instagram, right? Where it's like they came up with a new social media thing and it was, we're going to take your digital pictures and let you put them in black and white pretty easily. And they sold that to Facebook for $2 billion. And I remember hearing their interview of the founders. And they're like, yeah, I don't know, we might have sold earlier, like, and the guy's like, really? He's like, no, we were, and like they were like, no, we came up with an app that lets you put filters on your photos. Like, that's it. We'll take the $2 billion.
Yeah,
but they were thrilled with it.
But then again, I think the Snapchat guy denied like $4 billion.
Yeah.
And I think he still has it. I think he made a good move. I think it's worth way more than $4 billion right now.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
But then you get the reverse where it's like you want to make sure you're on something because you don't want to get left behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it does pick up, then you're like, fuck, I should have
i.e. TikTok.
joined the trend. Yeah.
And I wish I joined the trend when it was super. I mean, it's still super hot. It's not too late, but like.
You would think these companies like Clubhouse would do something beforehand to make sure other apps aren't just completely stealing their ideas. Well,
that's like a Zuckerberg special. I see.
I tried it again with Threads.
No, they just steal everything.
Yeah,
like they.
But like, don't they see that every time they start something new, the other currently more popular apps are just going to kind of take it and put their own spin on it, like prevent that from happening.
Like they stole Snapchat shit word for word, bar for bar.
Yeah, with stories.
Yeah. Word for word, bar for bar,
dude.
Look at that Snap Inc. right now. Market summary. The market cap. I don't know if that's valuation, but it says $28.7 billion.
I don't have Snapchat. I don't like. I remember it was a thing where they're like, it came on the scene like 10 years ago, and they're like, people send nudes on here. Like that. That
was like how they kind of like broke through the foray.
Right.
Like they got that great press. Like that's kind of like.
Oh, that's the problem I'm having there, Lance, where everything just starts fucking crashing. I'm glad it's not just me. Can't open this page.
That's kind of what like OnlyFans is about to do, I feel.
What?
Because remember they made that announcement like they're pivoting away from
nudes?
Like nude.
From porn? OnlyFans?
And like I know
they always have been. Like they've always been trying, but it's still.
Why would they do that?
Well, they don't want to be known as like just exclusively sex.
Yeah, because think about it.
The money's fucking green.
Sure, but if you turn it into like just a hosting platform, like a Patreon. Like I know Whitney Cummings did a stand-up special on OnlyFans.
Really?
Yeah.
People are probably expecting her to be naked the whole time.
Take your fucking enough of the jokes. Take your fucking shirt off.
But like that's what I mean. Genius by. I mean, I'm not sure Snapchat intended it for that way.
Yeah.
But you get into it that way, and then you pivot to something else, and it's like, hey, you got something a lot more valuable here because it's not as
they skyrocketed
risque or whatever.
Do you think that like porn stars from like 10, 15 years ago, like names that we know, are just like fuck? Like I was signing up, I was like a paid employee of Brazzers, and I made like let's say $1 million, and then they look at these girls like posting basically, there are girls that make a shit ton of money, not posting like that, explicit content.
I think it's kind of evened out because I think I've heard like Lisa Ann on Barstool Breakfast before, and where like they were like making a fuck ton of money at the time because that was like the heyday because people were buying like VHS and DVDs, and now it's like direct to consumer, so it's kind of like.
Yeah, but there's like no production costs. You need like a ring cam and that's it.
Dude, oddly enough, I'm having an OnlyFans girl in for tomorrow's episode.
Really?
Yes.
Bonk.
So listen to yes, bonk. But
Hey, you coming for Glenny Balls' crown?
no, I'm not.
Well, it sounds like you are.
I want to say that loud and clear. I'm
Yeah.
not coming for Glenny Balls'
Coming for
crown.
yeah. So what?
I respect the king. Glenny Balls is a good friend.
So do you like
But-
getting naked on camera?
So obviously I do, usually Thursday episodes are interviews. I needed one for this week. And oddly enough, I like woke up Sunday and some guy hit me on Twitter. He's like, hey, well, like I got a bunch of clients I represent. Like, would you like to have one on your podcast? So I was like, yeah, sure. Like send over your list, because we're always looking to have people on.
Yeah.
He sent me the list. I didn't realize that he had represented all porn stars. And I'm like, I looked at the list. I'm like, not really what we do. Although, like, I've had the Porn King on. We've done the Findoms. Like, they're interesting episodes. And I was like, is anyone local to Chicago? I was like, I see this girl. Her name is Wisconsin. Like, and I'm like, and he's like, oh, yeah, she's actually here. She's actually in Chicago right now. I was like, all right. Like, it just kind of was like a weird stars aligned thing. So
Sounds like you reached out to like Andrew Tate. He manages all these girls that they're online.
this guy
virtual
seems
pimp.
a lot.
Yeah.
This guy seems a lot nicer.
Okay.
But yeah, that's kind of how it worked out. So I don't know. Gonna be interesting. I've never really and I kind of wanted because there was like big names in there. I kind of like that would be interesting someday. But people have done that, and like
I feel like
don't-
that guy would be an interesting interview too.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. He probably would be. And I feel like the people who dip their toes in it is one thing. Like this girl, I did some research on her. Like she was in like Newsweek and shit. Like she's one of those like, I quit my job and I made so and so in the pandemic, and then I'm like, here I am. So
Damn.
I don't know. Should be interesting.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know how we got into that. But that's all OnlyFans. Like
Yeah.
that's where like
Yeah.
I that's why I think they tried to pivot. But
So do you think Eddie was just a subscriber and he just made up that whole story and was like, yeah, this girl, come on my podcast.
yeah, that was it.
We'll get your subscribers up.
Yeah, that
Studio
was it.
door is gonna be locked tomorrow.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
Yeah.
Speaking of technology though, I wrote something down. You think one of the biggest turnings of something is the selfie stick? Like, remember how goofy that fucking thing was, and how
Yeah.
like unbelievable. Like it was like the Snuggie, and I guess the Snuggie is in this category. So, by the way, where it's something so ridiculous and something that was a gag and a joke that has become actually pretty mainstream and useful in some ways.
Yeah, the Snuggie is different to me than that because it's like whatever people want to do in the comfort of their own home, I think fine. You want to be in a Snuggie on the couch instead of just a normal blanket like a regular, and I'm a big blanket guy. If I'm on the couch, I'm using a blanket. But I never had a Snuggie. I never really saw the point. But like the selfie stick was people in public. Like, and I want to say that this is like a newer, I feel like I heard about it within the last 6 months, maybe that 0.5, like that 0.5 setting on your phone for selfies is like the new, you just turn your arm to a selfie stick. Somehow your camera backs up within the phone. You haven't seen this?
I haven't.
It just creates a wider picture. So if you're trying to like hold your phone, no selfie stick for a group photo,
Yeah.
I think the quality goes down, but you get everyone in the shot. Selfie sticks you primarily see with like parents and tourists.
Where do you think the number one place in the world where you would still find selfie sticks is?
I think they're still out there. I mean,
feel like if you go to like Disney, I bet you
Yeah.
see a lot of selfie sticks.
big time.
Yeah.
Again,
Eiffel
they
Tower.
just want the shot. They want everyone in the picture. You
Yeah.
can't do that with just your arm sometimes.
Yeah. But even like, vloggers and shit, but they more just do like the little tripod stick. I
Yeah.
feel.
So we had, I don't know who they were, but at the Bears-Packers game, the guys to my left, there were two guys went to the game together. They had like the little tripod and like looked like an old school digital camera where they were like filming themselves for like the whole first half.
Really?
Yeah. Thought I'm like,
Dude, we didn't talk about that either.
what?
Never mind. I feel bad.
What? Now you got to say it. Who's it about?
Who do you think?
No, it's about our experience in Lambeau.
What?
Am I missing something?
Yeah, no one has ever touched on this yet, and I feel bad because the guys behind us were nice, but they couldn't be more annoying, dude.
Oh, I didn't think they were that bad. Those two
They just
kids?
had that voice. You know what I mean? Like they said.
Oh, they were like little kids.
No. They were older guys. One behind me.
There was only one little kid. The one
Yeah,
that
there's
There was like a 13-year-old, a 10-year-old. I don't know.
Well, I guess we have our wires crossed on.
How was their voice?
Yeah.
Just an annoying voice in general.
So I don't know. Maybe I just couldn't because there was like the Bears guy, the dad who was a Packers fan, and then the two kids who were Packers fans.
Oh, so then we must be thinking of two
Different people?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Because I don't know. It got mixed up about the bunch, so maybe I'm
Okay.
But whatever.
Yeah.
We can move on.
Okay.
But the selfie stick.
You're not investing?
I mean, it's credit to the selfie stick. They made it themselves more than just a gag. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't got to risk like putting your phone 10 feet away on a ledge in order to get everyone in the shot. You just hold that selfie stick, click the button, boom. It's
Yeah.
technology.
I never had one.
I feel like Lance had one.
No, never had one.
Lance's
Really?
arms are so fucking long. He never needed
Yeah,
one.
that's true.
What about like your family group photos, especially around Christmas? How you doing those?
My mom would take
You
them.
set a timer.
Yeah, that's what we do, but
Yeah.
it's much more annoying. I think I might rather go selfie stick route.
Yeah, but selfie stick route's not perfect for a family photo. Like
Yeah.
if you're like, you know.
Well, for us, I mean, there was like 15 people in the picture.
Yeah, but what are you all on? Like a staircase? You're not going to fit everyone in with a selfie stick.
That's true.
Well, that's why we put. I think you could.
Well, you got like a fucking drone footage? Like up
Yeah,
top?
you can extend that thing pretty long to get everyone in the shot.
Yeah, but like
So
a
we
straight
just have-
on normal picture in front of the fireplace? I
That's
don't know
actually
if that's...
not a terrible idea.
No.
To have the drone, just like a
Flying around.
short range drone
Dude,
to take
seeing your
selfies.
mom try to work a fucking drone.
Well,
We'll be
someone
taking
else
that
would
pic
have to
forever.
do it.
Oh,
yeah.
that's next. The drone Roomba that just takes pictures.
Oh,
That's next.
Drone Roomba. So it just flies around constantly.
Yeah.
In your house.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Well,
Where are those? What do they need all the pictures of my house for?
dude, that's next. Picture people are not... They're relentless.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like a 24/7 home video live stream, basically. I could see if someone put it out for like the family party. Like what's going on upstairs, what's going on with the kids playing downstairs.
Although like the family party, like there was just something about those old video cameras.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like the big ass ones
Yeah.
with someone carrying those around versus a phone.
Those are sweet.
You know what the
Yeah.
big thing was? There wasn't like, while people were getting filmed, there wasn't like, is this going on Facebook?
You're right.
Yeah.
It was people
You're
weren't
right.
camera
Yeah.
shy at all back
Right.
in
Yeah.
like the 90s.
Those big boys that they'd put on their shoulder or even just in their hands, and you know it's just getting locked away. You're gonna pop it on maybe in 5 years at the same event.
Oh, we have boxes and boxes in my parents' basement of like VHSs that have never been watched. Like they filmed all sorts of things. You know, like my dad would film games sometimes, but like birthday parties, Christmas party, you know, everything. But no one has ever watched them. Like not once. And there's hours of footage locked away in my parents' basement.
My mom was showing me one recently, and I might submit it to Funniest Home Videos.
Really?
It was me when I was 3, and I was like refusing. I was like petrified of turning 4. I was like, I don't want my birthday to happen. We're not doing this. And she was like filming me behind the couch, like moping around because it was the day of my family birthday party. And then the presents started coming out, and like my aunt was like, "Oh, Danny doesn't want his birthday. This is mine now." I was like, "Never mind. I want my birthday. I want my birthday."
That's funny.
Give me a nice $50K from Carlton,
Well,
host of America's Funniest Home
He's
Videos.
hosting that now?
yeah.
He was. He was like at least 5 years ago for a minute.
It's crazy that show still exists.
Well, I was gonna ask that.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
How has the internet not killed that show?
Right.
Did it get better? Well, it's ridiculousness essentially.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Now, did it get better with the rise of smartphones or worse?
There's definitely more content.
There's more content, but more content.
But it's also you have to sift through it all
Yeah,
too.
and with more content, get more people trying to be fake and
Yeah.
you know
Go
make
viral.
these moments
True.
calculated.
It should have to be footage from like an old camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've said
Yeah.
before I should just start. I send people like the form to submit their stuff for viral videos. I should just fucking send it in America's Funniest Home
Yeah.
Videos.
Yeah.
Give me the little thing in the bottom left corner where you see the date. Give me fucking
Yeah.
2296.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
The red dot
In white.
blinking.
Yeah,
In the
exactly.
corner of the REC.
Yeah. That America's Home Videos, like all those kind of like a lot of them, I should say, those early 90s sitcom, like family sitcoms have had like nice landings. So Carlton's doing that. Bob Saget used to do that. Al from Tool Time, he did Family Feud for a while.
Yep.
I feel like there's a few of those guys that just like America just decided we love them, so they have like various jobs for life.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? You're used to seeing them on your television.
Right.
And you're so, man, it's so, You ever think about how easy those people got it?
What do you mean?
From a degree. Like, listen, obviously way different. I'm not comparing ourselves to movie stars and whatnot, and TV stars, but like, people love them because a character that they play on TV and it's written and it's polished and they get takes and they could go back and forth. Like, you wonder what they're really like. Obviously, what they're really like. It's totally different situation.
Yeah,
especially like America's Funniest Home Videos. I think a lot of that is their commentary on the videos. At least is pre-recorded, you know.
Right.
And in between, they're just kind of doing crowd work and, hey, how you doing today?
Yeah.
Would you? That said, would you ever, hypothetically speaking, feel like your first acting gig was kind of like a hated character? Would you take it? Because you know that's how the media might wrongfully see you, and it could typecast you in the future.
Depends on how.
Like, for instance, you might not be getting those hosting gigs.
Can you give me an example of a hated character?
Like a Joffrey.
Yeah, sure. Like
he quit acting.
Ramsey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't be America's Funniest Home Video host if you're Ramsey.
I think it depends on like how successful you are. Like that's like George Costanza. Like he has never really had anything else because all anyone can see him as is George.
He'd be a great host.
Yeah, I've seen him in a few commercials for something lately, and I can't remember what they're for. But he is like one of those guys where he pops on screen. I'm like, George. Yeah.
George.
Yeah.
However, I don't know. I don't feel like I really exemplify what I was trying to say, but like, I don't know. Those guys, there was something to those people just like people only seeing them on camera when they were acting.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. They became like America's sweetheart just because of a role they got to do.
Yeah, and like they might be like not personable at all. Like that's the thing. Like you like to get those roles, obviously, like Saget, Carlton, and fucking Borland had to be somewhat personable because that's like real and shit like that. But
it doubled as just great press too. Yeah. Like they're a win-win. They got a great successful role where they play like a lovable character, and now because of it, they're getting other roles because they're so friendly and lovable.
Yeah, what I'm saying is there could very well be a comedic actor out there who is just like the least funny guy of all time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy to think about.
Because he just got all his lines written for him.
And
do you know any actors in real life?
Do I know any actors personally?
Yeah, that have had like a big show no. Because I always feel, and I don't really either, but I always kind of feel like this is like, I feel like there's got to be something wrong with actors. Like you're so desperate to be something else all the time, where it's like, why don't you just be like a normal guy?
It's a hard job.
I agree. I could never do it, but it's also like, and you hear these stories about like the people who do like the method acting, where it's like you have to pretend this fucking guy is George Washington, or like Daniel Day-Lewis was like that, and it's like you can't like talk to him because he's in the role of like, I can't remember where I heard this story. It's probably like a TikTok clip from some other show, but it was like someone was like their hero was like, I think it was Daniel Day-Lewis, and he was just like, no, I'm Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, it was recently the Chappelle special where he's talking about meeting Jim Carrey.
That's what it was.
Method acting as Andy Kaufman.
Yes.
I gotta pretend this motherfucker is Andy Kaufman. I know very well.
Yeah. Like that's like what, like how could you ever like be friends with somebody like that?
I think it's,
or how could you be a normal guy?
Yeah, they're not normal guys, but it's just passion, I guess. They've probably been doing it for so long, like I can't fuck it up now. I've been trying to be an actor for 10 years. I'm gonna do what it takes.
But then it's like you hear, I was listening to Rogan had Taylor Sheridan on, who did, I think he did Sons of Anarchy, but he's done Yellowstone, Wind River, like all these kind of like very successful shows, big shows. And he's doing another show, or maybe it was he had Billy Bob Thornton in for one day to play one character on, I think it was like 1883. And he's just like friendly with Billy Bob Thornton. And he calls him up. He's like, hey, I got a role for you. He's like, all right, when do I have to be there? And then he showed up that morning. He's like, what are we doing? He's like, we're doing this, and great. Got it. See you later. Okay. And then he's just like a regular guy who's like, this is his job, versus like a Jim Carrey who is like like a lunatic. Like I don't know how you could, like, there seems like there's a wide gap, and I don't know how like you can approach, or like how do you, if you're Andy Kaufman for a period of time, how do you unwind to go back to being Jim Carrey?
You probably are never the same after. For any method, Christian Bale, like a chunk of you probably dies.
Right. Yeah.
Or goes crazy, I should say. You still have that Andy Kaufman bug in you that probably flares up from time to time.
Right.
Yeah, dedication to the craft. I wonder if he could just slip right back into it easily.
That is a good question, though. How do you just snap out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like you need to do like an Aaron Rodgers, like darkness retreat or something.
I bet they do secretly do like a bunch of like hypnosis or like psychology.
Oh yeah.
Psychiatrists, I mean, to even revert back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird profession.
And
for sure.
Like, I feel like that would be a big decision too. Like, I'm just gonna forget everything. I'm gonna pretend me, the person I've been, that I've been building every day my entire life. I'm just like, that person's not worthy to exist while I'm doing this character.
Yeah,
that's a weird.
He was telling people not to call him Jim.
Yeah,
that's
or
crazy.
Wouldn't answer to it.
Yeah,
just kept walking right by.
Who's Jim?
Yeah,
and I guess it's like to a degree back to my point where like paparazzi and stuff, you do see these people in real life.
Yeah,
to a degree, but like the difference between like a Shane Gillis, who you see the guy's whole life like on his podcast and like through other podcasts, and like you could see like an ugly moment, so to speak. I don't not that it was fucking ugly, like with him and Shay arguing, you know.
Yeah.
Or, you know, and be like, oh, like that guy in real life, he's not like that. Versus a, you know, who's a comedic actor, I don't know, an Owen Wilson, so to speak, where it's like, oh, we don't know jack about this guy.
Right.
Like that's just like, what if he sucks?
Right.
You know.
Yeah, we've never seen any of his real moments.
And I guess the reason I brought that up is because my instinct is that they probably do suck.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think you want to sit down and watch a ball game with those guys.
But I think that's why it's cool whenever you hear good stories about those people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally. We've all taken I bought that Rubik's Cube as like I don't know, we were kicking around different ideas. And we've all taken our crack at it. No one's even come close.
I could get like
I got a better chance to be an actor.
Yeah, I got 8 one side had 8 whites on it. That was but like all the other sides were jumbled.
Yeah, you're still only 1/20 of the way through.
And Lance like told me to Google this, like there's a way to do it, and I was looking it up, and like I couldn't even understand the instructions. Like they're like, you know, flip it around this way counterclockwise, then turn it again. And I'm like, this doesn't make, like, your instructions don't make any sense. And then when you watch the videos are going too fast for you to follow. So
I have my antennas up though on the people who get it done really quick. Maybe they just perfectly remember from when they got it and it was perfect how they distorted it, and they do the same thing back again.
Maybe, but like I feel like there are people who they like, I could throw that to a person right like that are so good at it. Like some people can just see things, like, you know, like I'm
jealous.
Yeah, it's like that to me is like might as well be calculus, you know, like it's that hard, and I don't have a brain for it.
It's rocket science.
Yeah,
crazy stuff.
Yeah.
No, but I went to school with a lot of like people who want to be actors and stuff, and all these years later I finally starting to see them like pop up in commercials. And
oh really?
Even on there was one kid who was on Stavros's podcast yesterday, and he had like,
really?
He had like a small part in The Bear. And there was another kid who got like, you know, he's moved to LA, he's probably been there 7 years. He's starting to get commercials. It's just a fucking grind. You gotta really like it.
You gotta have another job usually too.
But I think a big thing is they go into it knowing like, hey, this is a 10-year grind. You know, I'm not expecting to graduate and get a job. I have to make connections, move here, blah, blah, blah. So if you have that mindset, it's gonna.
Yeah, but that's such a 10-year risk because there's no guarantee that 10-year grind pays off.
Right. I think it comes down to like, oh, I wouldn't be happy if I didn't at least try.
Yeah. And there's like a couple of cool stories, like the John Krasinski story. Have you heard that one?
Yeah.
I feel like you probably know it better than I do.
When he was auditioning for The Office, or
no, so
before that?
It was like he was out there waiting tables, doing all these auditions, like not making any headway, and he like called his mom, and he had this like agreement with his mother where it was like, hey, like I'm gonna need you to tell me. She was like, I'm gonna need you to do it on your own because I'm not gonna tell you to give up on your dream. So he had given it like a year to whatever it was, whatever the time period was, and he called her up, and he's like, hey, it's not happening. Like I'm gonna come home and like get a square job. And she's just like, give it another like couple of months. Like, just keep, And then like 2 weeks later, he got the audition for The Office and like got it, and then like changed his whole life. But he was like ready to quit, and his mom like kind of just pushed him a little bit further. And then like John Hamm had like a similar story where same thing. He's like, I'm going to give it until I'm like, I think he was like until I'm 30 or 28 or something like that. And he's saying it wasn't popping. Then he got like one like small role on something, and that like allowed him to like give it another 6 months. And then he got like another small role, and then, same thing. And then he was still like an unknown. And then he got, I think when he was like 35, he got Mad Men. And that was, obviously changed his life forever. But he was like very close to quitting, and he had given himself like a deadline. He got something right before that deadline. So
it's the meme of the coal miner, and he stops right before you see the gold on the other side of him.
Yeah, there's nothing else really like that though. Like those professions where it's like
so much like luck,
so much. Yeah,
besides like entertainment, because obviously like stand up is very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I'd bundle that all into entertainment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
because it's not like, I mean, I'm sure you do get better at acting, as you get more experience and more. But like when you're auditioning for things and not getting them, and then you get something and you do get it, you probably aren't any better than you were 3 years ago when you were just getting rejected all the time.
Yeah,
it's like you need like that right moment, right opportunity, like right people in the room to like you.
Yeah, and I guess like the opposite is, you'll put in 10 years to be a doctor or like a lawyer or whatever.
But
it's coming.
Yeah.
But those people probably don't always meet the level of success that they thought they would.
Yeah. And
True.
it's hyper competitive. And so like I have a friend, we've talked about him, who's a doctor, and like he when he was going through like and they kind of like tell you like, all right, if you're like the top 0.01% of your class, you get to try to go be a brain surgeon. Okay?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like every brain surgeon, like, I'm going to be the top brain surgeon in Northwestern. You know what I mean? Like,
but it's like, even if you were like a doctor and a very smart kid in high school, cum laude and undergrad, you get into like a premier med school and you're like, I've dreamt of being a brain surgeon my entire life. And then you get to that echelon and they're like, you're going to be a dermatologist. Because like you just like, even though you're like the smartest person, you like, you've always been the smartest person in your school, your friend group, whatever. When you get up there, it's like, we got like 3 other guys,
Yeah, it's the best football player in high school thinking he's going to make the NFL.
Yeah. And it's like, well, you can still be a doctor, but you're not going to be the type of doctor you want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing though. Like, yeah, brain surgeon, they at least know. They have it mapped out. You have to do all this to get that. You have to take these classes to get this. If you're acting, there's no path. There's no path.
Yeah. No path.
Just keep trying.
Right.
When I'm right, I'm right, dude.
All right, then. We could wrap this up. That's today's free swim. We'll be back tomorrow.
All right. Let me know how it goes with the OnlyFans star.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll leave you guys alone.
Interesting. I gotta.
What's that noise coming from the dog walk studio?
Get her in contact with the porn king.
Oh God.
I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, me too. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. That's it for today. Back tomorrow. See you then.